Hello ladies and gentlemen, how's it going? My name is Exotic Giant, and I'm playing Dragon Age Vanguard. Now, this game is interesting. I apologize for some of my graphic shaders. If you see there on his cloak, it looks a little faded. I don't know why. This game has a lot of issues, I'm not gonna lie. It's got more issues than I'd like to point out. I mean, it's a beautiful game, don't get me wrong, when it's running fine and it's doing everything it's supposed to do. But it is something that I think the developers need to look into, because there are running issues. There are where the head switches back to the model that you basically have to start off with, instead of being able to get a fresh created model. But it's pretty crazy. The rendering issues, as you can see right there, rendering issues, it has a lot of those. And I have tweaked it to the point to where I've gotten the game to run fine, but then it does some things where it doesn't like to run at all. Now, if you're wondering the class that I'm playing as now, which, you know, normally every person who plays Dragon Age Inquisition or Dragon Age games usually run the mage, and I would say the mage in this one is the coolest one to play, because you can go from using staff magic to using an orb, and with heavy attacks you go from that to a dagger. So you have like literally mid-range, close range coverage, then you have your long range strikes, and it all has like different abilities, like heavy hits and stuff. Then you have an ult, then you have your 3 spells there, then you have abilities which allow you to use certain effects to do certain damage. It's a good game, 110% a good game, but it has a lot of issues. I had, as you can see, the rendering issues here. I'm playing on PC, by the way, so if people are playing like on Xbox or PlayStation, you may not have these rendering issues that I'm having. I swore this area was clear, but I guess not. How do we get there? Well, while I figure out how to get there, I'm going to continue to talk about it. But it's a great game. The hair physics, as you can see, is just phenomenal. The hair physics is like, I think this game's got like the best hair physics I've ever seen in a game. Like, it is stupendous on the hair physics. But, you know, I can't really sell you on the game when the fucking thing hasn't even loaded in. Kind of makes it look like shite, which is unfortunate, because it is a very good game. I don't think I can jump over here without the black screening effect. Your character has no fall damage, I will let you know that now. That's one funny thing about it, is there is like no fall damage to be found in the game. You can jump from certain heights and not take a hit. I don't know why it's taking long to load right now. Usually it's pretty quick at loading you back into an area where you jump from, but I don't know what's going on. Trying to go into inventory. The game is very buggy. For a Dragon Age game, you wouldn't think that it would have this much issues, but it does. But I think there's a lot of parts where they focused on the game too much, which I think they focused a lot on the hair physics, which I'm not gonna lie, I love the hair physics. The hair physics it feels more livelier in the game. I think this is like one of my favorite things, is the hair physics. But the combat, I mean, they've really downgraded your character to a kind of a sad state. And a lot of you may be thinking like, well, how did they do it? Well, you can only pick 3 classes. You can only pick mage, warrior, or assassin. I believe that's what it is, because that's what he is right here, the guy in the blue. He's an assassin. And the only difference is they get to use twin blades. Yeah, see, like right here, no fall damage. But it sucks because they took so much away from Dragon Age Inquisition, but they gave so much back into this game by making it like very rich, very, like, your character doesn't look like they're stiff when they run. They actually look like, you know, they might be a civilized human being actually running, instead of like an anatomical robot running. I didn't even see that guy. Again, rendering issues. That's another thing, is I've tweak my settings to the simplest fact. I've rechecked to make sure every file is verified, so it's no files are maybe like corrupted or bugged. I've re-downloaded it. I just can't get it to do what I want, and it sucks because this game is really fun. I already played once and had a dwarf character because I love dwarves in video games, and I couldn't get that, so then I made myself this guy, and you know, this was the next one that I was going to do when I did a second playthrough, but unfortunately it looks like that playthrough came sooner than before. What in the hell's going on here? Enough. Dog decided to bark. But how in the world am I supposed to get through here? That didn't do shit. Alright. So the two ways I normally use to get in there are blocked. Let's see if the map shows anything else. Any other entrances? Which, because this is the way that we tried to go, but it was blocked. So we have to get here. And again, with this loading issue is that some of the stuff doesn't show what needs to be unloaded or loaded. So then 9 out of 10 you're just sitting here trying to figure out how to get through. I don't know, it's not very interesting gaming play, you know, it's not really selling you on the game, but don't get me wrong, the game is very good. There's nothing I've seen so far that's terrible about it, except for, as you see right now, is the loading issues and the rendering and stuff. And like, I feel like on certain moments that my game, it just doesn't want to load my file, and then it just ends up having some type of weird bug out issue to where it says the file can't be loaded. And so I had to re-verify my files, and then it finally allowed me to load. And again, there's a bug with the head. It changes it to the default, because you can't make you can't just do a normal, you know, new customization. It takes a default head and it makes you use that, and then it has you use that default head for a bit, and then after a while, once you get that default head done, then you can go and do it. See, here's a rendering issue. It's just one after the other. But there's a tentacle here, and it's running that way because I don't see anything this way. So I'm gonna assume that I can see something from that cliff face. This is just part of the story mode. I tried to make sure that I didn't dive too far into it and give you guys spoilers in case any of you are looking forward to playing this. Again, I'm playing on PC. It could just be that PC is having these issues of rendering and working. How in the hell am I supposed to get there? As you can see, none of that is rendered. That is all just poopy looking. Looks like shit. But I don't see a way to get through. I don't see a way to get past those veins. There's supposed to be jumpers here, but I'm not seeing anything that I can use to get over with. Those veins aren't red. I mean, is there something I'm not seeing? Ah, okay.
This is where Taynor was headed. This light.
So there was more to it than it was. So I mean, yeah, I guess it makes sense.
That relic ended up lighting for us.
But again, I can't really sell you guys on the game and tell you like, yeah, this game is 100% good. You guys need to get it. It's gonna be your next fave. You're gonna be like, oh my god, I'm so happy that I got it. Blah 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 blah. You know, I think it's a good game. I just think it, like a lot of other games, it needs a lot of fucking work. Like, it's kind of sad for a game that actually is considered, compared to these other games that came out that were half-ass releases, unlike some other games that were full releases. And some games that were full releases were good games. They were terrific. They were fine. There was no issues. They worked just as they should, and some of them just don't live up to the hype that a lot of people would like for them to live up to. And this one is one of these games that is a very good full release game, but the issue is that there's a lot of issues in the game that shouldn't be here from the launch. And yeah, you have bugs here and there and stuff like that, but just rendering issues, character's head popping off and giving you the default character animation head. It's these are small detail things that should have been worked out before the game was even released. And a lot of people may be going like, "Oh, I think you're nitpicking too much into this or whatever." But you know, fair. I might be too much into it in depth. And then at another point, I'm just like, dude, this is ridiculous. This is an issue. And this is another thing that it's sometimes it doesn't load whatever quest is supposed to be here, or it's supposed to be like a talk animation or whatever. It takes a minute for the game to it's like the game's dragging ass behind you trying to catch up. And which, I mean, I'm glad to see that they focus more on see, there you go. That's why I was waiting.
Is that? I think that's Taylor.
And one thing, you can do these combos here. So see this little thing right there with me and him using these combos, and I click it, it's gonna put this little ring up around him, which is like a slow down, allows you to get a few extra hits in, and then basically you just pulp on his ass. Oh, I think he fell into the water. Yeah, that's another thing is weird, is that you can knock people off into the water and stuff, and they just...
So sorry.
Yeah, they ain't coming back. They just drop dead. It's you can Dark Souls their asses.
The tracker, Gus. Let's hope we can still.
But I mean, the game's cool. I mean, it gives characters a lot. It makes characters feel more in depth. They get more story to them. They don't feel like they're half baked anymore. Can you get off there? Where's this other guy? Oh, he might be down here. And as you can see, there's no fall damage. You're 100% good.
What's that there? By those bushes.
A dead guy? Corpse? Oh, pack. That's a big ass rabbit.
Collar. It says Gus. Wait. The tracker Taynor talked about was a nug. Oris's companion nug.
But again, what you're seeing, these are all the issues that I'm having with the game itself. Now, before anybody gets into it and go Mill, maybe you should upgrade your rig or whatever. No, my rig is fine. My rig is at what is required to run 95% of the games that are out right now. It's just now developers are trying to push it too much to where the computer or the game itself can't keep up either with the rig design, or they're specifically making it to their rigs and not to the consumer's rig, which, you should always try to aim for the minimalist bar for running expectations instead of trying to put it up to the top. But I mean, if you do that, then you won't get these beautiful hair physics that I get right now, but also you get these rendering issues. And then you start to go I'm about to punch somebody in the face. But again, the game's good. The game's fun. I've had no issues, at least trying to run it and play. I don't know why now it's having the most running issues. Usually these issues don't appear until a good couple minutes in the game, or the game's been running for a good 20 to 30 minutes. As you see, this is all supposed to be a nice little thing. Again, it could just be that PC is having the issues. I don't know if any of you console players are having issues running this game. I mean, if you're a fan of Dragon Age Inquisition, or the Dragon Age series, then, it's the same way as you could possibly put it.
I wondered where he was. Haven't seen Oris or Taylor in a while either.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Gus was the only one I could save.
Oh, creators have
But
mercy.
let me kind of put this all into a small aspect. I mean, you've seen a little bit of the combat, you've seen a little bit of the story interaction, you've seen the world, you've seen some of the loading issues, you've seen some of the rendering issues. I don't know what is causing all that, but if I had to tell you, would I recommend this game? To people who are playing on console, 110% yes. People playing on PC, probably not. And the only reason is because, as you see in my PC world, I'm having some rendering issues, I'm having some mission issues, I'm having some, you know, figuring out some of the glitches that go on and trying to counterbalance it and trying to fix it. It's like a car with a fucked up transmission, and it'll always try to correct it and adjust it to try to get it to run fine, but eventually at one point in time it's going to get to where this game does it, and when it hits that error on that load screen, it's just going to break down and it's not going to be worth it. I mean, it's the same thing with firearms. You know, you may put a new barrel and may not have that tight of a twist, but you're using higher grain in your AR, and next thing you know, that tighter twist ends up causing the barrel to either blow or it causes it to tear out the spin thread, so then your rounds are just flinging off in every goddamn direction and not hitting your target. You know, it's just comparison. These are the three big things that I know about in my life, and they're the three biggest things I know about in gaming, PC, cars, and guns. It's etc. etc. But I would say to the developers, this is probably one of the better Dragon Ages and one of the worst Dragon Ages. Just because of the class restriction, it kind of takes you back into Dragon Age 2. And there's not much to be put there. I mean, I went back and played it, and it had those 3 set base classes. In Dragon Age 2, in my thought and opinion, that people believe it's one of the better Dragon Age games. Then when the Inquisition came out and it had like a much more higher like class picking and definition and shit, people were more of like, oh, I can be this and this, and I can be this and this, oh, I can be this and this, and you know, vice versa. And you know, I think people like that a lot more than what they were getting there. But this one kind of tried to bring it back to the older days. But you know, I'm not going to continue to talk your ear off. This video has gone long enough. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below. Tell me if you think this game is worth playing. Tell me if you think it's one of the better Dragon Ages or one of the worst Dragon Ages. I said it was the best of both worlds. It's the best and the worst. But you know, also tell me if you think that it runs better on your console, or maybe that your PC setup that you have, maybe it's something different than what I'm running and not having issues. But these are the issues that I'm having, that I've never really run into any issues. So when I run into issues on my rig, that means that there's people out there who are having a worse day than I am. But thank you guys for watching again, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.